All right, guys. Welcome back to another Cardinals live stream. Um, I don't even know how to get into this one. So hold on, let me mute this. Hold up. I don't even know how to get into this one, man. Um, it's tough. It's a rough one. Um, Shout out to everyone on Instagram, all my people. Shout out to all my people on Twitter, on X, people on YouTube. Appreciate you guys. Um, Just one quick little thing for the people on Twitter, on X. If you guys want to comment, go to the YouTube stream. It's on my YouTube. Go to the live stream. You guys can comment on there. The comments aren't really working right now on Twitter. Just a little heads up. Um, so if you guys want to talk about that, or you go to my Instagram. A lot of you guys are up on there right now. What's up, guys? Say this team got to go. Benjamin, embarrassing. Andrew, Kyler's such a bad leader. Uh, I don't think this one. Everyone has a part in losing. Once you lose in an embarrassing fashion like this, everyone's at fault. There's not one person that's like, oh, outside, head coach, offense coordinator, defensive coordinator, quarterback, your main guys that either win or lose you the game. In my opinion, everyone's at fault. Deport the franchise, fire Petsing. Elias, I hate being a Cardinals fan. Hard reset on this team. Yeah, fire Petsing. I think you guys kind of get the vibe of where we're going with all this. Um, let's see. Darkness, G35, fire everyone. Are we watching clips and whatnot? Unfortunately, not right now. Um, because I'm a live stream. I don't want to get messed up with a live stream. Next time I could add clips if you guys want to. I could just start getting some clips. They need to be out of the NFL. This headache don't go away. Someone needs to put a hit on both Petsing and Gannon. That's like I said. That's gonna be the vibe that we're going over. Um, yeah, this team, unfortunately, you gotta reset somehow. I know it's sad to say it's year three of the rebuild, and you don't want a situation like this to happen where you know first year you kind of give it grace for a rebuild. Typically, this is how I see it. You get about 4 years in a rebuild, right? First year you had a grace period where, hey, new front office, new head coach, new regime. We're gonna break everything down, right? We're gonna clear everyone out, all the bad contracts, all the old players, everyone that you really don't need to build for the future who doesn't fit your timeline right now. Let's get them out of there. That's what happened. They got rid of Marquise Brown. They got rid of Isaiah Simmons. They got rid of DeAndre Hopkins. That was the first year. Year one, usually you lose by a lot, right? You're rebuilding. I mean, obviously, if you get a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, new front office, you're in a bad spot. So 1 year is you lose big, right? Second year, you're getting some of your people in places, right? You're getting some players back. You got some draft picks. You lose small. Year three, you win small. Year four, you win big. And it just looks like at this point, you're not really at that 3 point mark, 3 year mark where you're losing small. I understand the first two games, yeah, you were able to cut close on some wins, right, against the Saints and the Panthers. You were close against the 49ers, but these past couple of weeks against the 49ers, you lose last second field goal. Against the Seahawks, same thing. At home, lose against a last second field goal. Against the Titans this week, you lose last second field goal. And you just can't excuse those type of performances. If as an offense, I know I've been saying it for the past like 2 3 weeks, as the offense coordinator, you got to step up your game, right? You can't just have little spurts where you're just, hey, I'm good in this quarter. Let's try and use one good quarter to kind of erase the rest of the three bad quarters. Happened this game, right? You had an amazing first quarter. I think you went back to back scoring drives with a touchdown, and after that, you had three sort of shitty quarters. In the game against the Seahawks, you started off with three bad quarters, and then you kind of had that one fourth quarter where you kind of brought it back and you thought, hey, short week, we got 10 days until the next game. You're able to muster up something. Nope. Against the 49ers game, it was just a bad game overall. You had little spurts here and there, maybe in the first quarter, in the second quarter, third quarter, but you just can't put together a full game, and that's what sucks about it. Um, Let me see some of the guys' comments you have on Instagram. Fire Drew Petzing, end the season. Fire Petzing. Yeah, that's what I think is gonna. It has to happen. That's the bare minimum that you have to have at this point in the game. You have to. I know I put it in the title where, hey, fire everyone. Unfortunately, I think that's the trend that we're going to. We've been talking about it since about week one. We've been talking about it since end of last year, right? Halfway through last year, in January is when you should have fired Drew Petzing, and unfortunately, Gannon, he has belief in his guys. You have belief in your offensive coordinator. You didn't really change the offense at all. You maybe brought in. I couldn't say you brought in anyone. Everything stayed the same. You just changed up a few of the guards because Will Hernandez, he was hurt. The only real major change you had in this offense was Clayton Adams. He left. He left from being your offensive line coach to the offensive coordinator in Dallas, and I don't know. I know Drew Petzing is going to say that he hasn't changed anything that has to do with this offense, but you could tell he was the only thing that really left from this team, and this team is just horrible in all aspects. You didn't have a great pass game at last year, right? Last year you didn't have a great pass game, but you had an amazing run game, which kind of kept you afloat for most of the year. Now you don't have a run game, you don't have a pass game. It's just, what does this offense do? Your quote unquote identity is running the ball, but all that is being stripped away from you. It's like the football gods, unfortunately, I know I tweeted this out there. Unfortunately, the football gods are taking away your identity of a run game. They took away James Conner, took away Trey Benson, took away Tip Ryan in this game, and you're stuck with an offense that's built to pass the ball, but you don't want to pass the ball. Um, this offensive line sucks. It's horrible in the run game. It's relatively decent in the pass game. If you guys look at PFF, stuff like that, their pass block win rates are solid, right? I think they're probably middle of the pack, maybe a little bit above average. Run game is horrible, and that probably has to do with your interior offensive line. Um, like I said, this offense is built to pass. Kyler Murray, he's an electric player, and you're just getting him into a box, into a confinement where he's just having to either dump it off or run it or hand the ball off. You have Kyler hand the ball off 3 straight drives, 3 straight possessions, and you expect them, hey, 3rd and 8, let's try and go get it now. That's not really how this offense is built. This isn't how Kyler Murray. You can't just expect that, hey, let's turn it on. You would hope you have a quarterback that's, hey, turn it on right now, let's go win the game. But unfortunately, for most people, you need rhythm. You need time, to get, like I said, in a rhythm, to get passes going, to just feel good and feel comfortable in this offense. It doesn't feel like this offense is comfortable at any aspects. Um, he I know a lot of people are going to hate Kyler because he is a quarterback. He gets, as any quarterback, you get all the blame, you get all the hate. That's what happens. That's what comes with the position. But I mean, he does have stuff to blame for it, not getting his offense, in great situations, throwing the ball away, kind of ducking under pressure. I see those comments from you guys, and I understand it. But in the grand scheme of things, I think this coaching staff has to go. It's not just, hey, Kyler's playing bad, or hey, just Mars playing bad. Everyone's playing bad, from the quarterback to the receivers. The only person that's really isn't playing bad is Trey McBride. Offensive line is playing bad. Defensive line is solid for the most part. Linebackers are playing solid. The secondary, at different points in the game, it just seems like they're gonna let. It just seems like there's always gonna be 2 drives for the secondary at the end of the game where they're gonna let off a 20 to 40-yard pass, completely just untouched to any receiver, any second, third string receiver that's out there. They're just gonna let out a big play end of the game to get the other team in field goal range. And that has to do with coaching. I'll bring it up right here. The Cardinals here. Team stats. Penalties. They had 8 penalties for 47 yards. A lot of those penalties came from false starts, from lining up in the neutral zone, from pass interference, right? If you have 8 penalties in a game, it just shows you're not a well-coached team. And that starts off with Jonathan Gannon. I love Gannon. I think he's great for this team. I think he's a good leader. He's a great defensive mind, but if you keep on enabling your offensive coordinator to keep on running this offense the way it is and not show any signs of progress, not show any signs of positive trends, then unfortunately you can't we can't keep on blaming Drew Petzing every single week. I understand you guys. I understand everyone saying fire Drew Petzing. I feel like that's a bare minimum. Like for Monday, if there's nothing else that you do, you go ahead and fire Drew Petzing, and that's the end of it. Um, for for anything else, I feel like it's week 5 already. You can't keep on saying fire Drew Petzing. You gotta you gotta unfortunately start looking at the head coach because he's the one, like I said, is enabling everyone and is able to. Hold on, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, guys, my fault. We're back. I just had to help my dog out with something. He was in a weird situation. Anyways, so yeah, with the game, I just feel like you can't keep on blaming. Let's say like the team, right? You have the offensive coordinator, you have John again who's up here. You have your offensive and defensive coordinator down here. You can't keep on blaming one side of the ball if that's not changing, and it's already 5 weeks into this season. You've been failing since the bye week in last year. It's already gone about 10 games, almost a full season at this point, right? You can't just keep on blaming one guy. You have to see, who's enabling him, who's above him, and and at that point, I got to start looking at John the Gannon, which is unfortunate because, like I said, I love Gannon. I think he's a great defensive mind. You just can't keep on letting this stuff like this happen. And if you keep on enabling stuff like this, then unfortunately, I tweeted it out. I think about 2 weeks ago. If Gannon keeps on just he keeps on going hard for his guy, which in the grand scheme of things, as a leader, you'd love to see it. But if things aren't changing, he said, like after the 49ers game, you guys saw it where he said Drew Petzing called the best game of his career. That's just a straight lie. And at this point, fans aren't stupid. We're able to watch the games. We're able to see the games. We're able to see what happens. If you guys watch the all 22 films, if you guys see YouTube clips, stuff like that, fans in this day and age are way more knowledgeable of the game than ever before. And if you keep on lying to us saying, oh, Drew Petzing, he's playing great. Drew Petzing, we're almost there. I'm never going to have any problems with the offense, then at that point, he's putting all the blame on him. Everyone's going to start turning to him. If he got rid of Drew Petzing, let's say week 3, week 4, after these two abysmal performances, after the 4 or 5 games of horrible performances, then you kind of could save yourself as an offensive as a head coach. But now you're just not able to do any of that. Now the blame is getting shifted from the offensive coordinator to you, and and I hope Gannon sees that. I hope he isn't gonna stick his heels into the ground and just keep on fighting for his guy. At this point, you got to think about it. Hey, am I gonna let this offensive coordinator, who I'm probably good friends with, yeah, who's probably a great guy, I feel bad for him and his family. Am I gonna let him and his job affect me and my family, what's going on in this team? Because I do think Gannon has a good grasp of the team. The team loves him. The defense is playing out of their minds, right? I do believe this, like I said before, top 5 to 10 defense. Um, and if you can't have an offense that complements it, then the team's just gonna go down. This isn't early 2000s or even middle to early 2010s where, hey, a great defense can get you all the way to the playoffs, all the way to the Super Bowl with a bad offense. Unfortunately, it's not like that anymore. Unless you have maybe an Eagles type of team where they have an amazing defense and an offense that could just run at will, yeah, maybe you could do something like that. But they just have a great roster, and unfortunately, you don't have that roster. You do have a great team, a great defense, but offensive line isn't playing like that. The receivers aren't, making plays like that. You can't just run whenever you want, and that's ultimately that's the difference. Um, Andrew saying how hot is Gannon's seat right now. I, I would say if you had told me this before the game, I would have said, hey, his seat isn't hot. I think right now, but after this game, you got to start seeing, you got to start saying, hey, like I said, Gannon, it's on you now. All right, we're tired of just blaming the offensive defensive coordinator. Drew Petzing, he has his things to work out of playing soft defenses at the end of the year, and it was. I hate to bring up the Eagles because that's where Gannon came from, but you saw in the Eagles too. That's one of the main frustrations that this team had, that the Eagles fans had with Gannon, when he was their defensive coordinator. They said he, during late in games, he would just play soft defenses, right? Let everything in front of him. That's why they think they lost the Super Bowl against the Chiefs the first time, and you're seeing it now in Nick Rouse's defense, where there's just times where they play too soft, and the other team's trying to win it because they're playing like they can't lose, and they just let up a 40-yard play. It happened right now at the end of this game, that last drive where the front's trying to get pressure, right? Um, Cam Ward steps up and he delivers a strike to some backup tight end. And at the end, that was maybe for 20, 30 yards. And then he goes up again. Next play, right after that one, I could bring it up right here too, where he throws another pass about 40 yards to the Cardinals 5 to 10 yard line. He throws that pass to what's his name? Calvin Ridley. 4 yard pass, 16-yard pass was made to a Conwu, right? And after that, Calvin Ridley 38-yard pass. And at that point, you you just get in field goal range when you're supposed to stop them, and that's the end of the game. First quarter was great, right? It kind of seemed like how the team was about 2 years ago, where hey, we could script up a hell of a first and second quarter, but once it gets into those situations where hey, we're trying to see what the defense is giving us as offense, they just started playing bad. It just seems like you can't, if one thing gets fixed, the like four or five other things get broken, right? You came up hot in the first quarter, two back-to-back touchdown drives. One was to Marvin Harrison Jr. where he mossed the two Titans secondary players. Another one where you're able to run it in, great plays. Then after that, we could read the play-by-play each and every drive. First quarter, touchdown, Cardinals. First quarter again, touchdown. Another one for the Cardinals. Then after that, punt, touchdown, punt, 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 fumble, punt, fumble, punt, punt. That's not going to win you any games. And I know the fumble, that you had a few mistakes where the football hit Kyler in the face mask and it was a turnover, that I think that caused the fumble. The other one where Taylor Demerson, he caught the interception, but he couldn't survive the ground. He fumbled. Then a ball gets kicked around. Titans pick it up in the end zone. That's a touchdown and stuff like that. But good. Those things, those goofy plays, they don't happen with great teams, right? They only happen against bad teams. And unfortunately, that I do believe that falls on coaching. I mean, that's not going to happen with teams like the Vikings, like teams like the Seahawks, teams like the 49ers, teams in your division, the three other teams, Rams, 49ers, Seahawks. Goofy plays like that don't happen. Um, you could go any other team that's been viable, that has a great, solid head coach. Things like that don't happen. So unfortunately, you just can't chalk that up as bad luck. Because yeah, maybe one of those plays is bad luck if it happens once. If it happens once, every couple weeks, you get it, bad luck. It's the NFL, things happen. But for those two plays that happen in the same game, it's just unfortunately, like I said, it is falls on coaching. Um, Scott Bailey, He says you can't change offense coordinators 5 weeks in. The offense would drop. It's never worked. No one can name one team that switched midseason and it worked out. No one. I mean, at this point, what do you got to lose? You're on a 3-game losing streak. You barely beat out two horrible teams in the Panthers and the Saints. I mean, what do you have to lose at this point? Where you're losing against the 49ers, lose against the Titans, who are 0-4 coming into the worst team in the league, comes in and you just blow it, right? Second half. Honestly, from the second quarter, you blew it. You only had one field goal. We go back to the scoring plays. Outside of the first quarter, you had one touchdown. That's it. No field goals, nothing. Just one touchdown. That came in the second quarter. That came in your fourth drive. So you start off your first 4 drives, 3 out of 4 were touchdowns, and your last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Your last 8 drives either ended in a punt or a fumble. 3 fumbles actually. Fourth quarter fumble, third quarter fumble. That's it. 2 fumbles. So I mean, I understand you don't want to change a lot of things because it's week 5, and you're kind of looking around like, what are you going to do? What are you going to change? How is offense truly going to change? Because once you get rid of Drew Petzing, who's up next? Drew Terrell, your pass game coordinator. He's never called plays before. The only time that we've known that he's called plays was the second or third preseason game, and that looked like crap, right? Um, you had Clayton Tune out there just not knowing the offense, not being able to throw downfield, just uncoordinated. You had the whole team just playing horrible. Are you really going to trust that? But I mean, at this point, like I said, you have nothing else to lose. Might as well go out there, change offensive coordinators, because you can't keep on running this back. I mean, the fan base is going to get annoyed if you keep on running it back like this. Because what can you say as Jonathan Gannon, as Drew Petzing? What can you say for this offense that's gonna be exciting for the fan base, right? What's gonna How are you gonna go into next week? I think we play the Colts next week. How are you gonna go into the Colts, who are one of the best teams in the league right now? How are you gonna go into their home and expect to win a shootout? Because that's ultimately what you're gonna have to do. The Colts, they put up 30 or 40 points like of nothing, right? Win against the Dolphins. Here's the Colts' last couple records. Win against the Dolphins 33-8. Win against the Broncos 29-8. Win against the Titans, the team you just played. They beat them 41-20. Lost against the Rams 27-20. That was a close game. I watched it last week. It was a really good game, right? Win against the Raiders 40-6. You're gonna have to put up at least 30 some odd points to beat the Colts, and you haven't put up no more than about, what was it, 25 the last couple weeks. Yeah, you haven't put up more. You put up one game more than 25 points this season. It was against the Panthers, 27-22. And that Panthers game, if it wasn't for an interception and a fumble return for a touchdown, you would have put up just about 20 points of how you've been. You average around 20 points a game for as this offense, and you can't get anything going past that. So I doubt that we do anything against the Colts if you change anything with Drew Petzing. If you keep it the same, you're definitely not changing anything, right? Give this fan base, give this offense a shot of adrenaline, hopefully by firing Drew Petzing. I know it's unfortunate. I don't want to, it's sad for him and his family, but in the NFL, you got to put up points as an offense, right? It's unfortunately just the way the game's gone, and especially in today's NFL, where every single rule, every single thing is catered towards the offense, right? You can't touch receivers past 5 yards, or else it's a flag, right? You can't hit the quarterback that hard for a sack because it's a flag. All these different rules you have against the defense catering towards the offense, and you can't put up more than 20 points a game. You can't put up more than 23 points a game. You just can't do that. You can't do that as a modern NFL team. You have to throw the ball down the field, and it looked great for this first quarter. You should have just kept it going. Like I told you guys last week, whatever little lightning in the bottle you had at the end of that game, try and expand it for a full game. And this was the perfect game to get it going, right? It was a perfect the Titans at 0-4. Brian Callahan, he's on the hottest of hot seats right now at this point, and this is one of those games you're at home. Hey, let's go try and put out a show for our fans who are barely showing up in the stadium now. I don't know if you guys saw. You guys could look at it on on my Twitter, where the fans aren't showing up anymore. And if the fans are showing up, the fans that are there leaving in the third quarter, fourth quarter, because they know, hey, same old Cardinals, they're gonna just choke this game away, like they have been the past 2 weeks, and you just can't get a home field advantage. Unfortunately, you just got to change something, man. And I believe at the very minimum, you have to start with Drew Petzing. If tomorrow morning he's not fired, then I don't know what to say, man. It's unfortunate. It's just such a bad loss, and you just can't trying to spoon feed as John the Gannon. You can't keep on trying to spoon feed these quips that you have of, hey, we just got to keep on going at it. Check, we got to keep on. I'm trusting Drew Petzing. I trust his offense. I don't have any issues with it. This isn't that. You can't, as John again, keep on spoon feeding these lies and these. You're saying we have a good offense. We could see it. We could all see it, unless you're the most oblivious person in the world who watches this Cardinals team. This offense sucks, and the one you got to save yourself, Gannon, because like I said, I like you as a head coach, but if you just keep on enabling Drew Petzing, you're gonna have to go too. And unfortunately, that's gonna leave us in another rebuild, looking for a new coach and offensive coordinator. Kyler's in his 7th year, right? He's 28 years old, and at this point, you just have to start from scratch all over. I'm a huge Kyler fan. I believe he's just been dealt bad cards. No pun intended. He's been dealt bad cards since coming into the league. I mean, first overall pick, you're gonna come into a bad team, bad franchise. No good franchises have first overall picks unless they trade for it. Um, Same thing is happening with Cam Ward right now. He's in a bad franchise. Same thing happened with Caleb Williams. He's in a bad franchise. These number one overall picks for quarterbacks, it's unfortunate you guys get set into bad franchises. But at this point, you just got to trade Kyler, see what you get from him. I believe at the end of the year, not right now, finish this season off, hopefully with Gannon, hopefully with Nick Rallis and Kyler Murray, because I do believe Kyler he has electric plays that you can bring out of him. You just need the right offense, and you guys seen it with Sam Darnold. He had to get a good offense with Kevin O'Connell. You guys see it with even Geno Smith. Geno Smith of the Seahawks coming in with Pete Carroll. He was a backup travel QB, journeyman QB his whole career. He has a great, solid offense, stable head coach with Pete Carroll, and he balls out, right? Unfortunately, he's with the Raiders. Raiders just a bad team right now, but that happens over there. Same thing is happening with Mac Jones. Same thing, in the 49ers, where he came, journeyman. His career is looking horrible, and he comes into a great organization, great head coach and play caller, and he's balling out right now. So, unfortunately, you gotta. I believe at the end of this year, you gotta just trade Kyler, even though it hurts, because I know for a fact you guys could clip this, you guys could stamp this right now. If the Cardinals get rid of Kyler and send him to a good team, he's gonna ball out. There's no question if he's not gonna ball out. Send him to a Steelers, send him to a Vikings, send him to a great organization right now that needs a quarterback, and he's gonna ball out. And that's because I see he's a great quarterback. What plays he can make. But unfortunately, this is just a bad timeline for him. He's just too old. If you get a new head coach, new offensive coordinator, he just doesn't fit the timeline right now. Um, Marvin Harrison Jr. He played great. You could tell he has more confidence. But you started off the game with him great, right? First quarter, you were throwing to him, targeting him. You were doing great. Second quarter, he maybe had one target, one catch. You guys keep me honest in the chat. Um, he had one or two catches, maybe one target, in the second quarter. You go into halftime, you're like, what happened to Marv? Is he hurt? Is he out of the game? What's happening? No, they're just not. They just went conservative in the second quarter because you're up by 14 points, and whether it's Gannon that called it, whether it's Petzing that called it, whichever one of those guys, they just wanted to go real conservative and say, hey, we have a two possession lead right now. We feel like if we could just keep on running the ball and play, mistake free football, let's go out there and win the game. That didn't happen, right? Second quarter, going into halftime, you heard the boos from the fans. Shout out to the fans that are out there in the stadium right now, because you guys see it's a horrible product, right? Defense is playing great. I never hear a boo from the defense when the defense on the field. I hear the boos when the offense is if they're waving the white flag, right, and they're playing the ball away. You heard the boos in that fourth quarter where they had to punt the ball. You hear the boos when the team is walking off, going to halftime, going to the locker room, which is great. Great on them for showing them, hey, we're not, as fans, we're not going to be the same old fans. Like, hey, it's whatever. Cardinals are going to be Cardinals. No, we as fans understand we want better, and hopefully, you guys, follow me on Twitter and X. I'm really critical on this team because I want this team to win. I've seen great teams being able to. I've seen teams be great, and you understand what a great team looks like. And unfortunately, there's a few things that separates a great team from a good team from a bad team. And right now, we're at that bad team where nothing's going right. You have spurts, you have flashes here and there, but it all starts with coaching. That's what I believe in. Third quarter you came out. You finally targeted Marv a few times here and there, but then same thing. You got conservative. And it falls on Petzing and Gannon at this point because he's so staunchly committed on Petzing. He's even saying, "Hey, I know what's happening in this offense all the time," and he's saying he likes it. Get both those guys out of here. I don't understand where we can go. You guys could leave comments where you think the Cardinals could go right now. Yeah, man, I don't know. Let me go back and read some of the comments. No accountability, wasting Kyler. That's true. I feel like we wasted 7 years of his prime at this point. We had some great moments, and I believe going back to last week on Thursday Night Football at the end of the game where Kyler is just in a flow state. He's running the offense. You could tell a play comes in. He goes to the line. He sees the defense. He calls a different play, right? And that's just Kyler. He's being a great quarterback, understanding what the defense is giving him. Yeah, I'm not saying he's without fault. He has to get his team lined up, team ready to play, making everyone get on the same page. He's not without fault, but at the same time, he's one of the reasons why you have these great plays, the reason why you're in some of these games, right? I'm sure that deep play to Marv in the first quarter, it wasn't because, hey, let me stand in the pocket and run Drew's offense and dink it, dunk it. No, he was in the pocket. Offensive line is dog shit, so they're running out. He runs out and just throws a lob, trusts his guy in Marv to make a play, and that's what happened. Marv made a play. You can't. That's not coaching. That's just broken plays. Same thing with his scrambles. Same thing with his runs. Those aren't designed plays outside of one of them where you kind of fade it to a running back and Kyler had his QB run. That was the only time Kyler really had a design run, and that didn't really go for much yards because the play design is shit. It's bad. Anything that I feel like Drew Petzing designs, nothing ever is like, oh, that was a great play design. It's always, hey, great scramble by Marv's, great, broken play, and being able to have a scramble drill, Marv pass, Trey McBride catch. That doesn't happen, right? You see, I don't know if you guys watch, any other games. I watch a lot of the 49ers, Rams, and Seahawks to kind of watch hate, but I mean, it's not going well right now. But I watch their games, and you could tell, hey, this is a great play design by Sean McVay. It's a great play design by Greg Roman, the offensive coordinator for the Seahawks. This is a great play design by Kyle Shanahan, where, hey, you run this play, this is a great play design. Someone's wide open. Even with the Vikings, right? We all know the ball's going to Justin Jefferson, right? He's the number one receiver in the league, and we all know the ball's going to him. You could double him, you could triple him, you could throw all the coverage his way. He's gonna have a great route, great play call to kind of suck in the defense and leave him, one on one, 1v2, and he's gonna make a play. And unfortunately, that just never happens with this team outside of broken plays. And you can't keep on living like that. I said it, 4 years ago when Kingsbury, it was 2021, 2022, when Kingsbury and Kyler were probably at their peak. And it was a lot of Kyler playing Superman hero ball. And you can't keep on, having him play like that. You have to give him some chances to get in rhythm, right? Give him some easy layups here and there, and then let those things come naturally. If you guys expect those things to come all the time, it's not going to happen, unfortunately. And with Kyler, I feel like now he's at a point where he's trying to run the offense because he's been criticized of it before, where he's not been able to run the offense, right? People think, hey, he can't run a normal offense. He can't sit under center. He has to be in shotgun. He showed he can play like that, but that offense, unfortunately, right now with this offensive coordinator, just isn't great right now. Um, yeah, Calvin losing to an 0-4 team is crazy work at the fourth quarter, and that's exactly right. I mean, we could go through these possessions, go through what's happened, this play by play. Nothing really happened until the fourth quarter. The Cardinals were up 21-6 with, let's see, they were up 21-6 with 10 and a half minutes to go in the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, 10 minutes to go until the game ends. You're up 21-6, and the following plays happen, right? Touchdown from the Titans. Fumble return touchdown. It's supposed to be a pick. You fumble it, touchdown. Now it's 19-21. You go, the offense with about 4 minutes left, right? A 4-minute drive. We talked about this too. Same thing happened with the 49ers, right? You have about 4 minutes left in the game. Go and try and win it. And unfortunately, it goes 1 yard rush, 8 yard pass, 4 yard run, 2 yard run, 0 yard run, 0 yard run, punt. You go back to back runs with Michael Carter, with Demercado, with his offensive line that's playing like dog shit, right? Playing like crap. And you go back to back 0 yard runs, 2nd and 8, 3rd and 8. You just take the ball completely out of Kyler's hand. The one time in that last drive for the Cardinals that went great, 1 yard run, the run's not working. They're selling out for the run. 8 yard pass. Finally, an 8 yard pass. It's you get 3rd and 1. You do a run play, 4 yard run. Nothing too crazy. You get the first down. Then you go 3 runs back to back to back. It's 2 yard run, doesn't do anything. 2nd and 8, 0 yard run, 3rd and 8, another 0 yard run, 4th and 8. And then instead of letting your quarterback, who's been playing solid all game, yeah, he came out with a foot injury. I thought it was a concussion at first because the ball hit him, kind of had a little bit of whiplash. At that play, instead of at the end of the game leaving the ball in your quarterback's hand, who is in my opinion so dynamic, where hey, he could obviously pass the ball, but if he sees nothing there, he could run the ball instead of just saying, hey, let me hand the ball off to my 4th, 5th, 6th string running back, either Demercado or Michael Carter or Bam Knight. And instead of letting your $40-50 million quarterback, right, the leader of your team, get the ball and go make a play, no, let me run it 4 straight times and just waste our drive, waste our possession. You only get you started 4:39 at the kickoff. 2 minutes. You only wasted 2 minutes of play time, and then you put the ball away, and then here comes the Titans putting the ball in their first overall pick in Cam Ward's hands. This is their final drive. 3-yard pass, 4-yard pass, 6-yard pass, incompletion. 16-yard pass, 38-yard pass, 11-yard run, right? After you're already on the 15. You're on the Cardinals 15-yard line, right? Well into field goal range. Then you start running the ball, right? Outside of that, you got the ball at your own 18-yard line. And guess what? Right? As much crap as Brian Callahan and the offensive coordinator get because they're 0-4, guess what they did? They let the ball in their quarterback's hand because the quarterback is the most important position in the league in all of sports, right? The most difficult, the most important position in all of sports. Instead of getting the ball and leaving it in your main guy's hand, your quarterback, your leader's hands, like the Titans did, they gave it to their young quarterback, Cam Ward. Hey, go win us a game. We trust you. Here's the ball. Go make some plays. And he made some plays. But instead, as Drew Petzing, you're like, hey, I'm scared right now. I'm scared we might lose the game. I'm sweating. Drew Petzing he knows he's on the hot seat, right? You could tell week one, his little press conferences, he's high spirits. He's like, oh no, we're gonna fix this. Just a few tweaks here and there, coaching, blah 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 blah. Until this past week, he's you could tell he's getting frustrated, right? Some of his answers, some of the questioning from this Cardinals media, they're pressing him a lot more now, and he's getting irritated. He's getting frustrated, and at that point, instead of, hey, let me go give the ball to my number one quarterback, right, first overall pick, the face of this franchise, give him the ball, tell him to go make a play, let him be Kyler at the end of the game. You don't let that happen. You say, let me get the ball, let me go back to my conservative ways, and let me run the ball 4 straight times. And that's unfortunately that's how you lost the game. It wasn't on um it wasn't on anyone else. You can't say it was on Taylor Demerson because he's a young guy. He just, the reason he plays defense, right? He can't really catch the ball. He got the ball, but he went down. Plays like that might happen, but if you let that play, like, if you think that is the reason why, same thing is like, oh, the refs, like people that blame the refs. The refs aren't the reason why you lost the game, right? You just couldn't make plays. And unfortunately, that's where it is on this team. You just can't make plays. Um, Let me see. Um, People blame, yeah. And then one thing I didn't even bring up, the 75-yard run from DeMercado. Like, what? I know. Oh my God, you guys. I'll post it on Instagram. I'm not, I'll post it on Instagram, post it on Twitter. But I know whenever Drew Petzing talks this week, if he's still employed by Wednesday with the team, if he speaks, he's gonna say, "Hey, we had the 75-yard run. That was a great play. Unfortunately, he dropped the ball, but that was another explosive play. One maybe what if explosive play shouldn't, rid you from a horrible fourth quarter, from a horrible second half, from a horrible 3 quarters, second, third, and fourth. It shouldn't rid you from calling, BS plays and just getting way too conservative at the end. And like I said, I will put some blame on Nick Rallis just for those last couple of drives too, for just being real conservative at the end. I know he wants to play everything in front of him, and unfortunately, it happens. No matter how great this defense is, it happens like one drive a game where this defense just lets out crazy chunk yardages, and that changes the momentum of the game. And unfortunately, it gave the Titans enough time. It gave them enough yards to get into field goal range and to kick that last second field goal. And unfortunately, it happened this week in the fourth quarter. Same thing last week. It happened where it didn't happen. It happened in the fourth quarter, just on the last drive for the Seahawks. Same thing happened against the 49ers, right? You let up a few big plays to Ricky Pearsall, and there they go in field goal range in about 3 plays, right? And that just falls on coaching. I think there's no other way around it. Yeah, that was all the notes that I have. If you guys want to comment, anyone on YouTube wanting to comment, you guys are going to comment on Twitter too. You guys can put some comments in the chat. So let's see, what are you guys saying? Like, let me scroll back a little bit. I know I missed a lot of them we were talking about. I'll just try and get a glimpse of Redbirds 23. Why would you release the ball before you cross the end zone? Because it's rigged. I don't think, you can't make this up. unfortunately, we chose the team, and this just isn't rigged, man. It's just unfortunately just some franchises. I know in the past I've been kind of called a Bidwell truther, I guess, but I truly believe he has nothing to do with this. I know in the past probably he did, and that's probably why Bruce Arians left. It's probably why we had different great coaches leave. Todd Bowles left, and you know I do believe Bidwell is out of the picture now in terms of like all the football operations. I truly believe it's Monty Ossenfort and Dave Sears run operation, but it's just it's going to take a little bit for this to get cleaned up. I do believe in Gannon, but at the same time, if he keeps on riding for his guy Drew Petzing, you have nothing else to do than to fire Jonathan Gannon. It's unfortunate, but that's the way things have to go. Um, let's see. I understand you, my guy. DiMercado's trash. Yeah, I feel bad for him because he doesn't get that many touches. I mean, at least this season. Last year, he got weird timing touches. He doesn't get that many touches. I feel bad because as a player, especially like him, especially like Michael Carter, stuff like that, you only get a few chances here and there. But that's just inexcusable how you drop the ball. 75-yard run. He even slowed down. I mean, if he didn't drop the ball, it looked like it was going to get punched out because he had the great run, 75 yards, about 50 yards in the run. He starts slowing down 15 yards before the end zone. Starts slowing down. You see, I think it was L'Jarius Sneed. He starts catching up. He reaches his arm out to try and knock it out. He has it. He's getting loose with his grip. He's gonna knock it out, but unfortunately, DiMercado, he just lets it slip through his hands. Right? He lets it slip through his hands, and if he didn't fumble it, I believe Sneed was gonna go out and get the ball. I think he was gonna force the fumble, and you saw him just getting chased like that. Here, I'll move this. I'll move this for you guys a little more this way. Okay, there you go. Yeah, it's a little bit better for my Instagram people. Um, yeah, man, DiMercado. Unfortunately, I love him as a player because he's had some great plays for this team. He's been out there. He had that great another 75-yard run last year to kind of steal away that I think it was a Jets game. You thought he was gonna have another one today, but you just gotta just not play him, man. Kyler, he went to bat for his teammate. He said that post game, he said he understands what type of guy DiMercado is, and it's just unfortunate circumstances. But I mean, things like that. I go back to my point earlier. It falls on coaching. If the coaches, the head coach, offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, if they're not paying attention to little details throughout the week, those little details explode into little things like this, man, into little things of dropping the ball before you get into the end zone. That just falls on coaching. The penalties, the offsides, the false starts, the pass interferences, the holdings, that all falls on coaching. You're gonna have a few here and there where it's just, hey, the player just unfortunately just got called, but keep on having Isaiah Adams out there every week, Jonah Williams out there every week. It just falls on coaching. One change I think you can make is get Jonah Williams out of here. I said it last week after the game. I'm gonna re-say it, this week again. Get Jonah Williams off the starting team. I don't care. I don't care if you paid him. I don't care if you cut him. Right? Just not start him. You have a backup tackle who's playing great, who doesn't have maybe the ceiling as a Jonah Williams, which I don't even think you've seen Jonah Williams' ceiling. He's just on the bottom. He's on the floor right now. He's just a bad player. You have someone like Kelvin Beachum, who's maybe not the most explosive player, who you maybe can't build around for the next 5 years, but at least for this year, take out Jonah Williams, put in Kelvin Beachum at that right tackle spot. You already have Will Hernandez play. He played maybe the first two drives in the game. Your only two great drives, he was in there at right guard. I believe this for the line. The line's crap, but this is how you fix it, right? Leave Paris where he is at left tackle. You have Evan Brown. I would say you put Evan Brown wasn't even in there this game. I say you leave Isaiah Adams. He's a young guy. It's only his second year. It's first year starting. I just believe you just got to take the punches with Isaiah Adams. You got to roll with him. He's a young guy. He's a young offensive lineman. You just got to roll with it. Unfortunately, that's probably not what people want to hear at this point with the offensive line. But you just gotta roll with the punches with Isaiah Adams. He was your third round pick last year. You got to just roll with it. You got to just roll. It's unfortunate you don't have any other better option. I don't think John Gaines is a better option. He played right guard I think the second half because Will Hernandez wasn't in there. But you can't play John Gaines. I don't think you're gonna play maybe Evan Brown since you did see good flashes from him last year before all the injuries. But I think that left guard spot, you're either going to have Evan Brown or Isaiah Adams. One of those two. I believe put in Isaiah Adams in there. He's a young guy. Evan Brown, he's 26 years old. You might, if you feel good about him, I don't care about the left guard spot. Either one of those two is going to be a shit show in that left guard spot anyways. Center, Froholt, he's played solid. Not great like he has the past couple years, but he's not horrible. He's not the reason why. That snap was just miscommunication, and I think that miscommunication falls on coaching. Right guard Will Hernandez, he's going to be in there. You can't get rid of Will Hernandez. He's the best run blocker you have, and in pass protection, he's great. You just got to get his knee and his conditioning up to par. But after that, you got to put in Kelvin Beachum at right tackle. That's one way you could fix this offensive line. No one's going to come in as a free agent and just fix this group right away. You gotta just stick with the guys that you have on your roster, and one of those guys, Kelvin Beachum, he's just sitting there. Play him. You're not paying him that much money. The Jonah Williams experiment, it's over. In the Bills game last year, he was horrible. As soon as he got hurt, the team was playing solid, right? Unfortunately, that's where we're at right now, where he's just playing horrible, Jonah Williams, and you just can't do anything about it. You gotta just bench him. Other than that, I think everything else in the offense stays the same. You got to fire the offensive coordinator. I don't know where you go from that. Drew Terrell is going to be the offensive coordinator or the play caller, and I think that's one of those things you just have to do. Let's see, what else are you guys saying? Tear it down for next season. Unfortunately, I mean, I know we talk about tearing it down. It's week 5. I don't want to go through 12 more weeks of this. I mean, not 12 more weeks of this. I don't want to go through 12 worse weeks because trust me, if you guys have been following this team for a while, you guys know it could get a lot worse than this. What gives me flashbacks is that Browns game. That Browns game 2 years ago when Clayton Tune was in there. I don't want to see that, right? I don't want to tear everything down. There's a few smart moves that you can make, and I just talked about it right now. Changing the right tackle, changing the right guard, changing offensive coordinator. I believe this defense, once they get healthy, yeah, you're going to play a lot better, but ultimately, this offense just has to change. As a defense, you're not letting that many points up on the board. I mean, even then, against the Saints, you let up 13 points as a defense. Against the Panthers, you let up 22. Against the 49ers, you let up 16. Against the Seahawks, you let up 23. Against the Titans, you let up 22 points. You're not letting more than 22, 23 points in a game. This, like I said, in the modern NFL where teams are throwing it like crazy, where the rules are catered to the offense, you're only letting up 23 points as a team. That's good. I know you guys are going to say, hey, Nick Rallis, he's playing soft. That's a good defense, right? Maybe they're out there for way too long. I do believe that because if we go back to the plays, I'm bringing it right back up, going back over here. Let's go second half, not even the second quarter, second half. You have a 7-minute drive that ends in a fumble, right? That was good. You're giving your defense a good break. After that, 55 seconds, the defense just got off the field and you can't even get a first down. You get 3 plays for 1 yard. That's it. You put the ball away. You're not giving your defense a break. Then we're going to the fourth quarter. You shave off 3 minutes off the clock, solid, right? 5 plays, 92 yards, ends in the fumble, horrible. The second to last drive, 3 plays, 1 yard. You shave off 1 minute, 41 seconds off the play clock. I mean, you're not giving this defense a chance to breathe. I mean, the last drive for this offense, 6 plays, 15 yards, 2 minutes and 46 seconds off the play clock. You're not giving this defense a chance to breathe, and I mean, any defense, I don't care what defense you have. You can have the prime Seahawks Legion of Boom defense. You can have the Ravens defense. You can have the Steelers defense of years ago. You can have, Saxonville's defense from years ago. If you keep on just going three and out, three and out, three and out, this defense is going to get tired, right? And most of the time, I know the defense, they change defensive linemen, at a good clip. But for the secondary, you're not changing Will Johnson out, every other play to give him a break. Will Johnson's out there every snap. You're not changing out Buda Baker every single play. He's out there every snap. Same thing with Jalen Thompson. Same thing with Mac Wilson. The edge rushers and defensive linemen, yeah, you want to keep them healthy. You have a good rotation there. But you're not giving this defense a chance to catch their breath, right? They get, an interception, they get a turnover, whatever. They go on the sideline, sit down, get a breather, get some oxygen in, and it's like, hey, defense is up, defense get ready, because guess what? Offense is out there to punt. And you just get no time to catch your breath. So that's my opinion on that. Let me go back a little bit for this. It's time to sell a team. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you could do that, because I don't think Bidwell right now he's not gonna, just let go of the team. Something has to come up. We were really close. I believe we were really close, like 2-3 years ago, with all the allegations and the racism remarks and the yelling at pregnant women, stuff like that. That should have got him at least fired or investigated, and unfortunately, that didn't happen. I don't know how you get Bidwell away from this team. Like I said, with Austin Fort here, I do believe he's not mingling with the football stuff, with the football side of things. But at the same time, it starts from the top bottom. Like I said, if the offensive coordinator, he isn't getting change, you go above him, right? Which is Jonathan Gannon. If Jonathan Gannon if he keeps on cycling out head coaches, then you go above that, right? Monty Austin Fort. If he keeps on, maybe having bad picks, can't get a head coach in here, can't get a quarterback to save his life, then you go above him and you look at, keep on climbing the ladder to see who's above him, and that goes to Bidwell. So I don't know how you change that, which is unfortunate. Sell the team. Yeah, it will get us away from a D+ owner. Exactly. There's a lot of bad owners, but I believe, like I said it again, I don't think he's messing with this right now. You think here from Zach V, you think Petzing will be fired? It's tough to say. I believe right now, this is a tough loss. Gannon, I don't know if you guys saw the post game press conference. He's bad right now. He's not in a good space right now, or he just, that was probably the most ejected I've seen Gannon during his whole tenure here. He just isn't. I don't know what's wrong with him. But I will say, if we wake up tomorrow and we go through the rest of tomorrow, Monday, and Petzing is still on this team, then he'll probably be on the team for the rest of the year. And that's because maybe Gannon doesn't want to fire someone midway through the season. And yeah, because after this loss, after losing to the Titans, who are 0-4 coming in, worst team in the NFL, right? So many bad things going for them, and they just lost, by 40 the week before. If this loss doesn't push you to change offensive coordinators, then I don't know what else will. The Colts are going to put up, you have to go win a shootout against the Colts. I do believe this defense is going to stop them. I don't think they're going to drop 40 on this team. But at the same time, I don't think this offense can keep up. So if Drew Petzing is going to be fired, he's going to be fired tomorrow morning, right? Tomorrow during the day, and we'll see it. I'll post about it. And hopefully, I think after that, I don't think I can bring up the Cardinals coaching staff right now, but I think at that point it'll be Drew Terrell who calls plays. We saw him just in I think the second or third preseason game. He did call plays, but outside of that, I don't have any, unless he just had a bad preseason game where it was Clayton Tune, backup offensive lineman, none of your starters. Unless that was the reason why it was a bad game, play calling wise against the Broncos, then hey, I'll leave it up to that. But other than that, I don't have trust in whoever's coming next because our pass game coordinator Drew Terrell, he did have some kind of leadership opportunities in the Senior Bowl. I think he was a position coach or something like that in the Senior Bowl or the East West Shrine game, something like that for the college guys. Um, Other than that, I don't have any belief in what's coming up next. I don't even know who would come next. He's in my opinion the next guy who would call plays. But yeah, I have no idea. Our Orleans abysmal. Yeah, like I said, the way you change it, put change the whole right side. Will Hernandez, right guard. Kelvin Beachum at right tackle. That's the way you change it. That's the way I believe you could change that. Um, Agreed. It could be worse somehow. Yeah, and unfortunately, that's the sucky part. You have a great young team, a great young offense defense, but it could get worse. Unfortunately, it could get worse because yeah, it could get really bad. I don't want it to get really bad because I want to cover the game and have good news and hopefully have a few wins here and there. But I, if we, it could get worse, and I just don't want to see that reality happen. Um, let's see, 1AMNW. The offense has scored 20 points in almost every game. Not good enough. Exactly. I think this game we had 360 yards of total offense, which we finally broke 300 yards of offense 5 weeks into the season, which is great. But yeah, you're just not putting up points. You're barely putting up yards. You're not putting up points. This offense is just you just can't. It's just a bad offense. It's bottom five in the NFL, bottom five in running, bottom five in passing. But the one silver lining is in passing, they're pretty efficient in passing. For the most part, if you guys look at the advanced stats, for this offensive line, they're solid in pass protection. They're everyone is a lot better once we pass the ball. It's just you don't pass the ball, and that's just I don't know what to say from that. You're a better passing team than a running team, but you want to stick with the run for whatever reason. Just go out there and say F it, right? I don't care about the run. We don't have James Conner. We don't have Trey Benson. We don't have Tip Ryman. Let's go and just go ball out. And unfortunately, you thought it was going to happen, but Drew Petzing just crawls back into his little conservative play calling and just starts calling run after run after run. Petzing needs to be fired before lunch tomorrow. Exactly. If I'm Jonathan Gannon, I'm letting it sit for tonight. I'm calling Drew Petzing in for a meeting tomorrow, first thing in the morning, and you're firing him first thing tomorrow morning. You're letting Drew Terrell, call the offense, call the plays, and hopefully Drew Terrell. I mean, Kyler, he's real. He's real complimentary of Drew Terrell from last year and from this offseason. So you hope they have a better connection than what than what's been there in the past. But you could, I feel like that's the most logical move right now. Even looking forward into next year, I know I saw some people talking about trade Kyler and stuff like that. I believe next year, unfortunately, in the draft, who do you think is better than Kyler Murray in the draft? I don't think Drew Aller is better. I don't think Sellers is better. Excuse me. I don't think. Um, I mean, I like Arch Manning. I don't think he's better than Kyler right now. I don't think he's going out for the draft. Who do you think is? I don't think you could get anyone next year unless there's a surprise cut, unless there's someone that you could trade for, which no one's giving up their quarterbacks. I don't think there's anyone, unfortunately, at this point, that is better than Kyler for your team next year. Because I don't think we'll be even in the position to get a Drew Aller, to get a Sellers. I think they're going top 5 to 10 in the draft because everyone needs a quarterback. Um, yeah, I don't think I don't think there's an option to get better at the quarterback than Kyler Murray next year. Unfortunately, I think you are gonna break it down and rebuild somehow. or retool. I don't think it's gonna be a rebuild. I think you're gonna rearrange some stuff. But I just don't see a quarterback that's better than Kyler coming out of the draft, or that's going to be a free agent next year. Um, Good offense equals better defense. Exactly. Nolan, yeah, if you're able to put points up on the board, I mean that's what happened in the first quarter, first half. You're able to have long, sustained drives, put up points on the board, give the defense time to catch their breath, and go out and make some plays. And that's what they were doing. They were shutting everything down. But once you get into those drives where it's a three and out, three and out, three and out, then it starts taxing on the defense, and unfortunately they just can't make any plays at that point because they're tired. Um, on here. Here, right here, Snowy. Ever notice that when Hernandez came out of the game, the offense stalled? Yeah, I mean, like I said, Will Hernandez, he's gonna be a big piece in this offensive line. I didn't think he was gonna be that missed because I believe you had a good kind of pipeline, but with your offensive line. But yeah, especially going on that right side, a lot of plays we were running to the right side, and Will Hernandez, he's exceptional in the run game, right? He's one of the best run blockers. At least last year when he was playing, he was one of the best in the league. In terms of guards, in terms of interior offensive linemen, he was one of the best in the league. And you saw in those first two drives, they were scoring drives. I mean, I don't know, is it a coincidence that when Hernandez was in, they had their longest plays and their most sustained drives? I don't think so. You just got to make that switch at right tackle and put in Kelvin Beachum. Yeah, fire Petzing. Yep, fire Petzing. I hope it happens tomorrow. You just gotta cut bait with him because it's basically at this point, if you don't cut bait with Drew Petzing now and you do it at the end of the year, what's the difference, right? What's the difference? Because if you do it at the end of the year, then you don't have any games to be like, hey, is Drew Terrell someone that we think we could hold on to in the future? Can he be our offensive coordinator for next year? Because for a fact next year it's not going to be Drew Petzing. I don't care if you could win out the rest of the games. I have no belief that Drew Petzing is going to be here next year. Um, so get on that now. Same thing, like instead of holding on to old players, let the young players play. Same thing that I have kind of my thing with that at left guard. Evan Brown, his contract's up either this year or next year. Isaiah Adams, he's gonna be here for the next 2 years for sure. He's on a rookie contract. So get rid of the old guy, put the new young person in, and let's see where we're at with him. Because if you don't want to wait till year 3 or 4 to see what you have with the coordinator with to see what you have with the offensive lineman, you don't want to wait that long because you don't know. Get them playing early, and you see what you have right away. Um, how do you think Cam Ward looks? Um, I mean, it's tough to evaluate him. He had some great throws. He had some awful misses. He's just a young quarterback. He's 5 games into his NFL career. I think he just has to get obviously a better team around him. When your number one is Calvin Ridley, and your number two is Tyler Lockett or Alec Amarari, whatever his name is, yeah, you're not gonna have a good stats. So the offensive line was bad. Defense is all right. I mean, you have L'Jarius Sneed, you have Jeffrey Simmons, who are great pieces. But other than that, I think you just have to wait and see. I didn't like him, so much coming out of Miami. Like, let's say if I choose between him or Kyler, I'd keep Kyler. But he is young, and you never know. You never know. We're only 5 games in, so he just looks like a young rookie on a bad team right now, which is unfortunate. I hope we get rid of. Hope we get a new QB also. Um, yeah, Bono, TDE Bono. I think you do want to upgrade at quarterback, but the way this league is, there's no good quarterbacks out there. It's unfortunate. The best quarterback you have is in house. You have Kyler. I think he's your best option. I don't think maybe Jacoby Brissett is better for a Drew Petzing offense, but this Drew Petzing offense, you're not getting any points out of it. So yeah, you could put in Jacoby Brissett, but is that going to give you a better offense? I don't think so. Are you going to get better QB play? I mean, maybe is gonna be more efficient in terms of like, hey, we're moving the ball down maybe 2, 3, 4 yards. But then the day, I don't think you're going to put up any more points with Jacoby Brissett in there for Kyler Murray. And for next year, I don't think any of the free agent quarterbacks or any of the college quarterbacks are going to be any better than Kyler. So selfishly, I want Kyler to stay here because I believe if you get a good offensive coordinator in here with this offense, with this defense, we can make the playoffs and we could have a solid season. But I understand the timeline doesn't work. He's already 27, 20, 28 years old. And if you're going to restart, he just doesn't fit the timeline. Um, I hope Kyler, if he isn't here next year, he's going to go ball out wherever he's going to go. And, like I said, mark my words, you guys are going to see he's going to ball out wherever he goes. Marv Plex, I think. By the way, do you think Connor will be back next season, and will he play as good as he did till now? I think Connor, he will be back next year. I mean, they just re-signed him to a 2-year extension. He'll have 1 year left at the end of this year. It was a foot injury. Thank God it was no ankle because that could take a little while. It was no ligament injury, with the knee. That could take another while too. It was a foot injury. He's out for the season, and you could come back from a foot injury. I mean, I don't think I've seen anyone have their career derailed because of a foot injury. He takes amazing care of his body. He's a hard worker. He doesn't have that many mileage on his legs, right? The first 4 years he was Le'Veon Bell's backup, and then that fourth year he was a main bell cow. So he doesn't have that many, that much, run on his legs. And I think you see with the larger running backs like Derrick Henry and stuff like that, where these larger running backs, they could last a little bit, into their 30s. It's not just as soon as you hit 30, you hit a wall and you're done. Like the smaller running backs, his speed has never been a part of his game. He's always been, let me just churn out some yards. So I think he'll be back next year. I think he'll be solid again next year, because it is a foot injury. If it was an ankle, if it was a knee, then you're kind of worried at that point. But I feel like he'll be solid next year. They should try our second string quarterback as a 1-game starter. Like I said, I don't think we're going to put up any more points with Jacoby Brissett as our starter, because you guys see, we talked about it. It doesn't matter what happens in terms of quarterback. Hell, you can have fucking Pac Mahomes out there. You can have Mahomes out there. If Drew Petzing keeps on calling 4 straight run plays for 0 yards, it doesn't matter who's back there. If they're not, if they're just, hey, we're gonna run it, we're gonna run it again against a stacked box against Jeffrey Simmons, who's winning double teams left and right. That's just unfortunately that's not gonna happen. The offensive line isn't great in the run game. You're better in the pass. You're built for the pass game. Why don't you pass? But they're just scared to pass, and I can't say anything outside of that. JT right here. I don't think people understand what happens after Kyler Murray. Murray isn't the problem. Exactly. I don't think Murray's a problem. He isn't. This is where we're at with Kyler Murray at this point in his career. He isn't the problem. I do believe that. He does have some part of the problem, right? He isn't the problem. He isn't the solution, right? He's not Josh Allen. He's not Mahomes. He's not Lamar Jackson. He's not Joe Burrow. He's not, the top 5 quarterbacks out there. He's not one of those guys where, hey, no matter what this offense looks like, we have belief because we have Josh Allen coming out there and he's going to be the focal point. He's going to be the hero in this offense, which I can't wait for. I don't know if the game started already for the Bills game. I'm excited to watch that. I'm excited to watch future head coach, offensive coordinator Joe Brady for the Arizona Cardinals. I'm just kidding. I mean, hell, if this season keeps on going the way it's going, get Joe Brady in here as a head coach. He's doing great with Josh Allen. Hopefully, he gets a smaller Josh Allen and Kyler Murray. That's besides the fact. But yeah, Kyler just isn't the problem. He's not gonna go save you, but at the same time, he's not costing you games. You could see his stats if you're a box office watcher, the box score watcher. He does have quite a few interceptions already, but a lot of those are fluke interceptions where Marv stopped, Marv fumbled, someone just tipped it up in the air. Little things like that is just not. It's not on Kyler's fault. I believe he's playing solid right now. He's playing above average. I do believe he can dip into a top 8 quarterback, top 5 quarterback. You know, when he's playing great, right? When he's in that flow state, he could be a top 5 quarterback. But I think for the majority of his games, he's a top maybe 10 to 14 quarterback, you know, not middle of the pack, you know, above average, top 10 to 12 quarterback. I put it at that. I feel like he's a top 10 to 12 quarterback in the league. Um, Everything he can do athletically, he has a great arm. The deep ball's still there, the fastball's still there. He's great. It's just his offense isn't dipping into his strengths. They're just, hey, let's eliminate as much error as we can. And you know, Kyler, I know you could be a great quarterback. I know you could do all these great plays, but let's just stick within the offense. I feel like that's what he gets coached up on, and unfortunately, that's what he's doing. Um, Let me see. Anyone else? It's been a rebuild every year. Yeah, we've been rebuilding every year, and I think, I, you know, one of these, I felt so good going, not offensive wise. I just felt good going into the season where, hey, we had a dominant run game. Let's build off that. It's Marv's second year, Kyler's third year in the system. Let's get this going. But unfortunately, um, Clayton Adams leaving was a huge impact, even though Drew Petzing doesn't want to say it, even though Gannon doesn't want to say it, but they know, they feel it. We see it. It's been a big impact on this team. And just bad coaching on Gannon, on Drew Petzing, on Nick Rallis. All the penalties is just, it's a reflection as you as a head coach. We have 8 penalties. A lot of them are just dumb penalties, offsides, illegal touching, you know, stuff like that. Is just not playing. You're just not having good coaching. If you're not winning, you're having, even when you win, you have a bunch of penalties. I think you're one of the most penalized teams in the league right now, and that just falls on coaching. There's no other way to put it. Drew Petzing's given enough opportunities to improve. Exactly. This, I mean, unfortunately, this offense has been regressing. You guys remember the first year with Josh Dobbs? Josh Dobbs was letting it rip down the field. I don't know if it was because Drew Petzing was like, hey, you know, let me show what I could do as an offensive coordinator. Let me throw the ball deep down the field. Let me, you know, even Michael Wilson. Michael Wilson had, you know, like 10 plus catches against the 49ers that first year, right? They were balling out. You had hope. You saw glimpses, but now those glimpses aren't even there. Even when Kyler came back, you saw those deep passes against the Texans, right? You saw that deep pass play with Rondell Moore, but it just feels like every year you start off hot as offense, right? You're like, oh, I can't wait till Kyler comes back. I can't wait till we get a receiver. I can't wait till we build this offensive line. You build that, you kind of take a step down, right? You're looking solid. The next year, then boom, you take a step down. We're a great run team, but it just feels like as the years gone on so far, you just get more and more conservative. You get scared, and in this league, if you play scared, you're gonna lose. You know, the way Lions play, the way the Bills play, the way the every team in your division, Seahawks, 49ers, Rams, they never played scared. And you see, I mean, prime example, Kyle Shanahan, when he plays scared in the Super Bowl, that's when they lose. He hasn't won a Super Bowl yet because there's a point where the pressure builds up too much, and the saying goes, pressure either makes diamonds or bursts pipes. And unfortunately, some people can't take the pressure. In Kyle Shanahan's case, he makes diamonds up until the Super Bowl. Super Bowl is just way too much pressure for him, and he crumbles, right? Same thing that's happening with Drew Petzing right now. The first year there was no pressure. Hey, you know, let's go out there. You know, first year we're breaking everything down, ripping everything down to the studs. Hey, let's see what's going out there, right? No pressure. Oh, I'm calling plays. You know, everything's working. You know, everything's looking great. You know, we found a gem in Michael Wilson. He could be a great wide receiver too. Let's go get a wide receiver one. Let's go get a Trey McBride. Let's go get him involved. Everything's great. No pressure. Second year, you get your quarterback back. You get a better offensive line. There's a little bit of pressure. You start seeing those glimpses of a bad offense. Third year, you get Marvin in here as a second year. You know, you get your second full year healthy with Kyler Murray. You have a great offensive line. You have the top tight end in the league. You have a great defense now, right? There's no, hey, you know, this defense sucks or anything like that. No, there's pressure this year now where it's I've said it before. I said it before the season began. This season is either playoffs or bust. I wanted to take it to the fact, hey, it's either win a division or bust, right? Third year in. But I gave him a little bit of grace. I said, hey, playoffs, you will go into a wild card team. I mean, you go in as a wild card team. Hey, just make the playoffs. You should have made the playoffs last year, right? You kind of got a little bit of a break last year, right? This year, there's no excuses, and that adds pressure. Gannon had pressure coming in. Drew Petzing had pressure coming in. I don't think Nick Rallis had that much pressure coming in. I don't think he still really has that much pressure because the injuries to his corners, right? The injuries to his defensive linemen. Darius Robinson wasn't out there today, but little things like that, pressure starts building up, and pressure kind of shows what kind of a coordinator, what kind of an offense you are. And unfortunately, you're just breaking under pressure, right? You're the pipe that's getting burst under pressure, and you can't make a play. Um, so yeah, I'm shitting at the Best Buy. um, yeah, the offense is declining. It hasn't been as great as it was the first 2 years. Do you honestly feel like Kyler's the right guy? I don't. He, like I said before, he's not the one who's gonna save you. But I think you're better off with Kyler than what you are without him. At least for this year, for sure. For next year, I think it's more than likely you're better with him than without him because no one in the draft is gonna be better than him. From what I see, I don't know. You guys could say there's a college quarterback out there that we could probably get. I don't think he's gonna be better than Kyler Murray. But yeah, I think he's the best option for us right now. Unless there's something that's gonna happen where hey, we have like a Rams and a Lions kind of trade where we're trading quarterbacks. You're trading a Jared Goff for a older Stafford. If there's something like that out there, then maybe, right? Because that was, I think both teams kind of won that trade. If there's something out there like that, then I think you explore it. I don't know who you call up. I don't even know how that'd be possible because Stafford at that point was already in his 30s, and Goff was, I think, the same age Kyler is at right now. Um, so yeah, I don't know who you trade for. There's no one that pops in my head, but I feel like that's the only way you kind of get a better than Kyler Murray. But outside of that, if it's free agent quarterbacks or if it's college quarterbacks, I don't think anyone's better than Kyler right now. Um, who do you want to see at running back? Yeah, give me Bam Knight at running back. I don't even care at this point. I think give me Bam Knight at running back, and then give me Michael Carter as a change of pace back, and let's see where we're going right there. That's it. I don't think you trade for a running back. I think that was real kind of this week. That was kind of up there where hey, let's trade for a quarterback. Let's trade for a running back. Let's see. Alvin Kamara was a popular name this week. I don't think you do that because you're gonna trade a third round pick, a fourth round pick for Alvin Kamara, and then at that point it's like, hey, we have Alvin Kamara, an old running back that's cost a lot of money. You waste a day two pick, and you're just a same shitty team, shitty offense, right? It's not gonna change. You're not gonna. The only person you want James Conner back, right? A James Conner-esque back, and there's not anyone like that available, right? The only things people I can think of is a Derrick Henry, but he's not leaving the Ravens. You need a big, strong, physical runner to complement these smaller running backs. Same thing, Trey Benson. Hopefully, when he comes back. Um, will you switch up if Kyler leaves? I'm not going to switch up if Kyler leaves. If Kyler leaves, I'll be watching Kyler. I'll be watching his games because I do believe if Kyler does leave, he's going to ball out wherever he's going to go, and that's my belief in Kyler. That's my belief in the type of player he is. I'm not going to switch up. I'm still going to be covering the Cardinals. So if you guys like it, great. If you guys don't, well, I'll still be here. I'll still be here covering the Cardinals. Um, so yeah, that's my stance on Kyler. Um, oh shit, Braden, wait, we lost? Yeah, dog. I don't even watch the game. Just because I feel like the score looks way better than what it. No, the score doesn't even look good because you lost against the Titans. Braden, we lost. It was horrible. We choked at the end. Just think, um, just think about the 49ers game, but just worse. That's what it is. Think about the the Saints game, yeah, this is the Saints game. If the Saints won, that's how I could put it. If Braden, if you watch the last couple of games, it's the Saints game, but we lost. Um, do you think Kyler should have more run plays? I do believe you have to involve Kyler a lot more than what he is, whether it's through the air, whether it's running the ball with him. You have to involve him more. You think you're playing Kyler right now like if he was Jacoby Brissett, right? Jacoby Brissett, he doesn't have that many wheels. He doesn't have that much wheels. His arm is great, not his arm's solid, not great, and you're kind of playing him as a game manager quarterback. Kyler, he has a great arm. He can throw the ball down the field. He can run the ball, but you're not doing any of that. You're just, hey, let's run the ball, but let's run it with Michael Carter. Let's run it with DeMercado. Let's pass it, but behind the line of scrimmage. Let's pass it, just little ding and dunk plays. You have to I said it last year. You have to evolve your offense to fit the players that you have, and that's not what's happening right now. We're not a second half team. We're not any half team, dog. First, second half doesn't matter. We're a one quarter team. We'll give you one solid quarter in a game, right? Saints game, we'll give you the first quarter. Panthers game, we'll give you the first quarter. 49ers game, we'll give you like the third quarter, maybe. Um, Seahawks game, we'll give you the fourth quarter. Titans game, we'll give you the first quarter. I guess we're typically not a second quarter team, second half team, but at the same time, I don't think we're in any half team. We'd give you a solid one quarter, give you two drives, and that's about it. Um, I hate the Cardinals for making me think this season would be different. Yeah, unfortunately, I'm with you, man. Like, I believe the Cardinals could have been different this year. I don't think there were so many good signs, so much good mojo going into the season where, especially on the defensive side, where you get all these new players because that's what happened last year. Last year, you're like, hey, this defense, we see the structure of a good defense, but we just need better players out there. You got the better players. The defense is coming up, but it's just not. You just have a horrible offense now. Um, Opinion on Clark today and the season till now. Is he a victim of coaching like other players? I think Keytro, he's played great. He's amazing in the run game. He's not afraid to get his face in there. He's not afraid to get in the tack. He's not afraid to get up there in the run game. He's not afraid of any of that. It's just unfortunately he shouldn't be playing as much as he is right now. He's our fourth string corner, right? Fourth or fifth string corner, where we have Will Johnson's back. You have Garrett Williams out. You have Max Mellon out. He's probably, I mean, Sean Murphy Bunny, if you want to count him in or out, whatever that is, he's maybe our fourth or fifth string corner. And unfortunately, he's playing as our number two corner right now. And that's just unfortunate. He let up some plays at the end, but he shouldn't be in those positions. I understand there's a lot of injuries right now, but I feel like he's playing solid. Plus in the run game, plus in the run game. He's just average in the pass game. He just lets up. If he could eliminate those big plays where it happened last week against Jackson Smith, he let that big play happen, which was unfortunate. This play against Calvin Ridley, he let up a deep pass there. Just little things like that have been unfortunate for Keytrell. But yeah, man, yeah, it's just been unfortunate for him. Let's see. I like your approach to reflect on the games around here. It helps to put thoughts in order. Yeah, I appreciate you, my guy. I don't even know how to say your name. Oh shit. MRVPXITLT. Thank you, my guy. Let's see. Anyone else? Anyone else have any comments? Kyler's gonna win MVP with Minnesota. Yeah, like you put him in Minnesota. I hope he never makes his way to the NFC. Because if he's with the Kyle Shanahan, if he's with the Sean McVay, then we're just cooked. Like I'm so deeply afraid of him. Like, let's say we trade him to like a Steelers. Let's say this situation happens in the offseason. You trade Kyler to the Steelers. He doesn't get an extension. He's like, hey, I want to test out free agency. He'll be like 31, 32. He goes to like a Sean McVay or a Kyle Shanahan. That'll be my worst nightmare. And he's gonna ball out and he's gonna have an MVP year. Like it's it's negative like minus 500, minus 1,000 odds on if he leaves, he'll have a great career year, and that's just my belief in the type of athlete, the type of quarterback Kyler is. We're just unfortunately not a great franchise for him at this moment. Freak this team, yeah. Chiefy says, so you're saying Kyler goes somewhere else, he's gonna ball out? So is the offensive coordinator, play calling, or system? I think it's both. I think this offensive coordinator is just bad. I mean, no one's playing great, and that's just falls in the offensive coordinator. I would understand, hey, Kyler's missing throws. He's not missing throws. Um, Receivers are running bad routes. The receivers are like not catching the ball. Yeah, that happens a few times, but it's just the offense as a whole isn't bad. You can't pinpoint it on one thing. Maybe the offensive line, yeah, you can't get the run game going. You can't hold up in the pass game, whatever that looks like, maybe. But I just think this offensive coordinator is just bad. So it's that the system isn't right for Kyler. I believe you need a good blend of Kingsbury's system and Petzing's system. You need a good blend between those two, where it was like, hey, we have good 11 personnel, right? Shotgun with Cliff, but then mix in some of the runs that Drew has. You have to have a good balance of those two. And I think we were too extreme, too air raid one time, and then we were just too conservative on this side we're at right now. We have to find that good medium. And I think that's where Kyler's going to thrive. Where hey, when we need it, let's get the ball in the Kyler's hand. Let him go make plays like he's used to, because he's a great quarterback. He's been making plays his whole career. He knows how to make plays. And in certain situations, let's go and run the ball, right? Let's go and run it, and let's get a few mixture of, hey, Kyler, run the ball. Hey, let's go and just go a power run. You have to mix it up. We're just too much on either side of the spectrum right now. Um, yeah, MRV, don't worry, it's just one German gibberish. Anyways, it's 4 a.m. over here. Hopefully, we wake up to some fortunate news tomorrow. See ya. Hey, thank you, man. Thank you for sticking with me. I appreciate the comments. Um, and yeah, if you guys have any last minute comments, I'm gonna end the stream right now. Um, like I said, hopefully we wake up tomorrow with the news that Drew Petzing's fired. Unfortunately, I think you know it, he's great. He's a great guy, but you just need change. And because I can't, it's like the definition of insanity, right? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different outcome. We're doing the same thing with Drew Petzing over and over again. Whatever we're doing from Monday, Tuesday, walkthrough practice till Fridays, fast Fridays, whatever that looks like in the week is not working. You're doing the same thing over again. It's looking like shit. It's looking like crap. You're barely putting 20 points up on the board, and the only game that you had more than 20 points was because your defense spotted you 14 of them. So this game, this offense is playing horrible. This defense is playing as best as they could. They're letting opposing teams not get more than 20 points, right? 22 points a game, and a lot of those come in with last second field goals, and and you just can't do anything to stop it, right? Because at the end of the game, when another team needs a field goal, they barely get in the field goal range, and that's those extra 3 points that gets it past 20. So yeah, fortunately, I think Drew Terrell has to start calling plays. I don't know why Drew Petzing's still here. Last comments, Boogeyman. Like I said, we could have and should have been 1-4, 0-5 right now. Yeah, man, because with that Panthers game, if your defense doesn't spot you about 14 points, you lose that game. Same thing with the Saints. If your defense doesn't break up a pass at the end zone and unfortunately gets two of your defensive players hurt, you lose that game. And guess what? You're 0-5 at this point, right? And that's what, unfortunately, that's how the NFL goes. There's a few things, there's a few plays that kind of make or break the game, and you've been fortunate with your defense to spot you 2 wins, because the defense is the only reason why we beat the Saints and the Panthers. Defense and the Saints, you got that Will Johnson nice tackle for loss. You had that pass breakup by Buddha and I think it was Garrett Williams in the end zone. That's the reason why Garrett Williams was hurt. Panthers, you had the 2 strip sacks, the fumble, the interception to start the game, spotted you 14 points. And yeah, against the 49ers, defense tried to hold still, but you only put up 15 points. Seahawks, defense tried holding them, you only put up 20 points. Titans, defense tried their best. You couldn't score outside the second half. The first quarter, you couldn't score outside the first quarter. Um, yeah, patty cake. What do you think we'll do next week against the Colts? We need to stop Taylor and this run game. Yeah, I believe with this defense, we could stop the run game. We could. This defense is solid. We could do all that, right? We could stop the run game, but it doesn't matter if we're not gonna put up points. I believe the Colts will probably have the lowest points they'll have all season. Let's real quick. Let me bring up the Colts. The Colts will put up 33, 29, 41, 27, and 40 points. I believe the Cardinals are going to hold them to the lowest point total probably their whole season so far. They'll probably let up, low 20s, maybe 27 points. I don't see them letting up 40 points unless, hey, if next week the Cardinals get blown up and get blown out by 40 points against the Colts, yeah, fire Gannon. I'll say it right now. Hold me to this next week. If we get a 40 burger put up on us and this offense can't score, so I don't think we're gonna put up anywhere close to 40. If the Colts put up 40 on us, then fire the whole coaching staff. Start off, trade everyone. Let's start off from the beginning. That's how horrible I feel about that game. If we let the Colts put up with Indiana Jones put up 40 on us, then I can't save Gannon at that point. I can't save Nick Rallis. You just can't let that happen, right? Opticism in my mind is saying we'll give up maybe low 20s, mid 20s, and we'll probably put up, I don't know, maybe 15 points, 18 points. That's about it. Um, let's see. Any other last minute comments? Um, it really makes you wonder what is being said in the half in the locker room, whether we're losing or winning. I mean, most of the time at halftime, you have like a speech. It's not going to come from Drew Petzing. Drew Petzing probably maybe talks to a few guys here and there, but most of the time you're just trying to, especially for this defense, you're just trying to catch a break. You're luckily halftime comes around because you can finally sit down for a little bit and catch a break. Um, and yeah, I don't think you can't really change much in halftime. It's just changing little changes throughout the game, and you're just not good at that. Gannon, what happened? I thought, we all saw the goofy press conference or the goofy first video where he's talked to Rondell Moore. Boom, 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 shots, explosives. That's not happening. We saw it the first 2 years. We haven't seen it since. Yeah, patty cake. Yeah, thank you, man. Thank you, my guy. Appreciate you. Um, anyone else? I'm gonna go ahead and end the stream. Like I said, I appreciate you guys. Um, I appreciate you guys showing up, showing out. If you guys do, I'm gonna put this live stream for my people on Instagram. I'm gonna put this live stream up. If you guys do want to rewatch it, I'll put it up as a post. Maybe edit it. Maybe just cut down the beginning a little bit because there is about a minute buffer in the beginning. I'll cut that. But other than that, I'll put this video up on my Instagram. If you guys want to watch it, rewatch it. This video is going to go up on YouTube, so if you guys like that better, same exact live stream is going to be going up on YouTube. So go ahead and take a look at that. If you guys can, I appreciate you guys going to my YouTube and subscribing. It's my YouTube is at Cardinals Update, so same exact thing as all my handles across, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Twitch, YouTube, all that stuff like that. Go and check out my YouTube. I'll be doing, like I said, I'll be doing these streams at least once a week so far right now. I gotta find a time, hopefully maybe 2 extra days throughout the week. I just gotta find when that time works out for me. And yeah, I appreciate you guys. Yeah, go check out the YouTube. So hopefully building this, just off the rails, off the Cardinal stuff. Hopefully building this live streaming into something I could do hopefully every day, hopefully every other day, and start, making a career out of this. I know I've been here on Instagram with you guys and Twitter for a while now. So you guys can help me out, and go to that YouTube, so I can start getting paid on that. And other than that, appreciate you guys for sticking around with me. Hopefully we get some good news next week of not next week of tomorrow morning that Drew Petzing isn't here. I haven't seen anything about that so far on Twitter, so I'll keep you guys updated, keep you guys posted, and yeah, see you guys next week. I appreciate you guys, and let's hope for some good news.